Yo, what's up guys? Nandra here, welcome to another video. So recently, a lot of you guys have been asking me for the deck list that I've been using in a lot of my videos recently. I'm pretty sure I've used this for like almost the last, I don't know, maybe 20 something videos. Okay, so this is Storm Dragon. I have the deck list titled Dragon Dance because it's not like it's not straight up just, full on Storm. It's a bit of a Storm Saha mix. So, I guess I should talk about some of the card choices I have in here and the why I have them. Right, so, ordinarily, the norm is to play double Dragon Summoner, but I think that's slightly incorrect. I do think triple Dragon Summoner is pretty good, but only, particularly for my playstyle, just because, like, it makes it so you have a 37 card deck. That's actually very, very important. The other thing about it is that it helps you reach certain damage thresholds as Storm Dragon that you wouldn't be able to hit otherwise. Like, for example, even if you only get exactly one attack in with Dragon Summoner, that means they can go Storm Unit Evo, Genesis Dragon, or sorry, Storm Unit Evo, random Storm Unit. That's 20 damage if your opponent can't heal. And that's actually very, very important, just because, like, a lot of times, just because, as I said, like, if you just go for like Storm Dragon, Storm Unit, that's 15 to 19 damage based off your evos, and being able to to deal that last point at the same time is very, very important, because you might not get another chance. So yeah, so I really like that. Additionally, because in some matchups, some people won't value trade into them. Some people won't take the value trade into them just because that is a losing play. So sometimes I'll be able to just race people down, which is weird because you obviously as Dragon, that's a really interesting thing to be saying. But that has been happening. Versus mid shadow and even nep shadow players, I'll just straight up just race them down with these 1-2 shots that just beat them in the face. Hell, in one game I actually had 2 of these that were just randomly just evil. I'm okay, well, alright, cool, I guess I'm winning. The next card is the one Dragon Summoner. Now, Dragon Summoner is still a very, very good card. Now, I don't like playing it as maybe say a 2-0. I mean you could if you wanted to, but I don't really like it. Just because Dragon Summoner deals with more narrow boards, so basically it's mainly attack for the mirror, attack for the control blood matchup, and I don't really think that you need those, just because you can literally beat people who are heavily tech for the mirror as Dragon pretty easily, as long as you just have proper play. Now this one is gonna raise a lot of eyebrows. The one of Humpty Dumpty. Now Humpty Dumpty, right? So a lot of people have been okay, why not just make that the second Tina? No, I don't think you make this a second Tina, just because the big thing about dealing with these neutral boards is to stop them before they get out of hand, and Humpty Dumpty lets you do that. Humpty Dumpty lets you take out 2 neutrals for free with 1 evo. Yes, you do lose. You do lose board, but let's be real, the neutral decks we're always going to have board reviews, so that doesn't really matter. Additionally, in the Shadow matchup, it clears out every single form of token generation that the Shadow player can go for, with the exception of Prince Catacombs, and even then, it entirely clears off 1/2 of Prince Catacombs, so you have so much AoE in your deck that you're going to find the second AoE for the Catacombs board. The other part, it clears off ambush minions early. For example, if I'm going second versus Ambush Sword, if they play their Vagabond Frog on 3, and I can evolve, I'm literally going to evolve over the Vagabond Frog, and then they're gonna be very, very sad, because Vagabond Frog is how a lot of the players just win that matchup, just because, oh, well, you have a frog, I can't clear with AoE, it gets evolved, it's at 4 HP, well, and I just want to cry in a corner. Nope, it doesn't happen, because Humpty Dumpty is here to the rescue. And as you may have seen, I do have a video that showcases the why Humpty Dumpty is so good. I also have plenty of screenshots as well. The one Tina is also alright. So Tina and Humpty basically serve similar but different purposes. Now, whereas Humpty was for going wide, Tina is going to be your surgical extraction tool for when they go narrow. Just because Tina can literally clear off a 4/5 Alice without breaking a sweat. It can also clear off 4/4 Hectors without needing to trade, and most importantly, it can clear off five attack T times as well. Very very good card. But only really as a one of, just because people aren't really playing neutrals as much now. Like for example, you're seeing class card based control blood. You're also seeing D shift, like a lot of not neutral decks right now. So it's not as mandatory to have multiple copies of Tina, in my opinion. 3 Sybil, staple, pretty much always staple. 3 Forever, again, pretty staple. 2 Forte. Oops, 2 Forte. So I don't like playing 3 Forte. I literally never have, just because like Forte is a bit of like a sort of like all-in card. I mean, obviously you can use it for other purposes, but generally you're gonna feel pretty sad if you can't hit the opponent in the face with your Forte. But the Forte is still pretty good, just because like sometimes it gets you there. Because sometimes, as weird as that sounds, like people somehow don't have the removal for the Forte when it gets evolved, and they just like get to clap them in the face for 14 from your 6 drop. That's pretty nice. The other thing is that like in the Dragon Mirror, what I'll do a lot of the times is I'll go ahead and I'll make like bizarre looking plays, such as like pre-evolves on Sybils or whatever. Well, particularly if I'm going second, like pre-evolves on Sybils in order to force out Breath of Salamanders, and I'll just go ahead and slam Forte. They won't have an answer, then they'll just die. Like I've done that like 3 or 4 times this week. It was always pretty funny. And lastly, just because even though my deck literally has a deck sleeves for Forte, people just aren't expecting it. Just because like she kind of goes in and out of the metagame a lot, just because like she is pretty fragile. So a lot of times people don't see it, just because a lot of people like have the like misconception that they just like shape just can't run the shape just like can't run they can't run Forte altogether, which isn't true. Like Forte does very very well in a lot of different matchups, and it's also a cheap storm. Now cheap storms are very very hard to come by as Dragon. Like the best you have are Forte and Seabrand Dragon, and the one damage increase as well as the can't be attacked from Forte is very very relevant. So as well as the storm. But yeah, like there are other things you can do, such as like for like 8 mana you can go Dragon Summoner into Forte, evolve the Forte. That's a very very feels good play. Yeah. 3 Sawquill. Now, I probably would not have played Saha Package, but I kind of don't have a choice right now, because Saha Package answers neutrals pretty decently, as long as you see your early points of interaction to keep the board narrow for to keep the board narrow and less developed as it should be. Like for example, if they have 4 neutral creatures on the board and they all have 3 more attack, well yeah, you lost. But if you can Blazing Breath, they're 2. If you can Blazing Breath, they're like 2 and 3 drops. So that way when the Alice comes out, the Alice only buffs like 1 thing, and you're able to ramp. Then yeah, you're gonna be fine, because Sawquill players are still very very strong. 2 Conflag. Alright, so I'm playing 2 Conflag just because Conflag is very very nice versus neutrals. If you can ramp once or you can ramp twice, depending on like whether or not you went first or second, it's very very good, because like one thing I've noticed is like people will always play around Breath of Salamander, because Breath of Salamander is pretty staple, but people will not, however, play around Conflag. Even if you telegraph to that person they have Conflag, they just straight will not think about it, and they'll play into it. Like recently I had a game where my opponent, he had a 2/2 in play, a Council of Card Knights. He evolved his 2/2 over say his 1/3, got Conflag, immediately conceded. It's very very good versus neutral wars, because that means that like in order for all the 2/2s and whatnot that get buffed by Alice, in order for them to dodge that, they have to get buffed 3 times. Like 2 is already pretty high roll, but 3 is like very very difficult to do, in my opinion. 2 Israfil. Now, I'll probably always play Israfil in any Dragon deck I make, just because like the healing and the clear is just so nice. Additionally, sometimes Israfil just kind of gets you there, because like if you can make a 10/10 Israfil that's really at 10 HP, then like sometimes a lot of decks like struggle to deal with it. Like for example, for Control Blood needs to have not only Revelation, but also a damaging spell as well in order to deal with it, or they need to have Scarlet Superior, or they need to have Emeralda. Like in the Dragon Mirror, it all but assures you that they're gonna get them to play their Bahamut on you first, and that's always gonna be a good feeling. Very very good card. one poly. I didn't have space for I didn't have space for two, and to be honest, like you don't really need two, at least on ladder anyway. If you do find you need two, then definitely go ahead and like cut the Humpty Dumpty for it possibly, or cut the con flag. But yeah, like I'm only using one just because like the matchups where you'd want to see it are not as prevalent. Like I mean, like obviously it's still very good. It's still very good versus the Mirror, versus D-Ship, versus Aegis Haven, as well as say versus Nep and versus Saha Force. But yeah, like still a very good card. 3 Bahamut, again, pretty staple, pretty core. 2 Zeus, again, staple. And then 1 Genesis Dragon. Now the Genesis Dragon is a personal tech trace of mine now. Like I really like Genesis Dragon, like in most frame dragon lists, but however, like sometimes he does go in and out of the meta. Like right now, like part of why he's like not in the meta is just because like Zeus is safer a lot of the times. However, the 2 damage difference between Zeus and Genesis Dragon actually does matter in more matchups than you think about. Like again, going back to those damage calculations, if you can go 5 damage Storm Unit plus Evo, 5 damage Storm Unit plus Evo, Genesis Dragon, that's 21 damage. If your opponent can't heal, they just straight up die. However, if it was Zeus for the last Storm Unit, that'd be 19 instead. That's a very relevant difference. Additionally, the other thing about this is that this can be pulled off of Dragon Summoner, which I actually like a lot, just because like being able to find your Storm Units for free is pretty nice. Now, one thing that a lot of people will ask me is that like, oh, do you feel like you're like lacking the consistency of like not being able to like hit your ramp because you have all these other like not ramp targets in your deck? Well, the thing about the Dragon Summoner package is that like if you play Dragon Summoner, that basically requires you to play about like 10 or so Dragon Followers. I believe I'm playing around that amount. Right, so 1 Genesis, 2 Forte, that's 3. 1 Scyther, that's 4. 3 Sybil, that's 7. Isla, that's 10, and then Dragon Summoner, that's 13. If you remove the Dragon Summoner if you remove the Dragon Summoner that would have to obviously play in order to have this be relevant from the equation, that's 12 Dragoncraft followers. Now of those 12 Dragoncraft followers, 6 of them are ramp. 6 of them are ramp, and then two of them are basically do-overs, and that of the Dragon Summoner, which I just get to pull another Dragon Summoner. So like the only like, so there's a 50% chance that I'm gonna get what I want on the first roll. Then there's a 1 in 4 that I don't, and then there's a 1 in 6 that I just get a do-over. So overall, it's about the same level of consistency as if I was playing, you know, less Storm Units and just the regular like playing like 10 or so Dragoncraft followers. Just because like for that one that's like a 2 and 3, and for this one it's a 1 in 6, I believe I said. Yeah, it's a 1 in 6 and then 50%. So yeah, so that comes out to being almost about the same thing. If you assume that because the Dragon Summoners are second bite at the apple, that they're much more likely to do it. Now obviously like there are some games in which is gonna like hurt a lot for you to not pull out the Sybil. However, it's still fine. Now for this deck, like even though I say it's like Storm Dragon or whatever, like you don't well at least for me anyway, you don't particularly go like super fast with it, or rather you don't have to always just, you know, go super fast with it. You can go ahead and, you know, play it slow, pace it out a little bit. Just because as long as you know what you're doing, you're gonna be able to find the opportunities that you need in order to set up things that work for you in order to like get a kill. Like for example, I've had games where I've literally grinded out Satan decks with this deck. Like that's actually ridiculous. But yeah, like the big thing about Dragon that I'll be talking about a lot more probably today when I make my why Python is good video is that Dragoncraft, like you get to kind of, you know, pick and choose your win cons. Like that's something that's like unique to this class. Like just because like you have something just like big ticket large mana cost guys that thankfully, because they're a large mana cost, like you can only play so many of them, like, and that requires you to, you know, like pick correctly, like not like make any like silly like decisions or anything like that. And yeah, like one other question I guess that I'd probably be getting is why no Erd? I don't really have space to play Erd. Like I guess if you wanted to, you could like replace the Scyther for an Erd, or you could place the Humpty Dumpty for an Erd, but I don't know. I don't particularly like Erd that much. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, go and leave a like, go and hit the subscribe button if you haven't. Let me know what you think about Storm Dragon down in the comments below. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys next time. See